Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. I am a master tier player who specializes in jungle and support. Today I want to talk to you about the 5 biggest mistakes I see in low elo. I'm basing this off of my coaching experiences. Also, I've done my fair share of smurfing, so I've seen pretty much all the mistakes that low elo players especially make. The biggest mistake low elo players make is usually in Enchant Select. By far the biggest mistake made in low elo takes place in Enchant Select. Many players will take a champion that they do not know just because they think they're OP. Let's say a Rammus main picks Cho'Gath because they think that Cho'Gath is just so OP that he can carry with it. If you don't know the champion, bottom line is you're not going to carry with it. You need to know the items to build on them, in what situations, power spike, level order, all of that stuff. Never pick a champion just because you think it's strong. Make sure you know it. That's the first thing. The second thing in Champ Select is you want to pick what helps your team. Whenever it's your turn to pick, don't just mindlessly lock in a champion. So if your team doesn't have a single tank on it and you're going support, you might want to go something like a Braum or a Thresh instead of going Nami or Soraka. Of course, assuming you know how to play a tank support. Same thing with jungle and top especially. If you don't have a tank on your team, you really need to pick something tanky. So I might go Rammus or Sejuani if we don't have a tank. Also, the third thing in Champ Select is you want to make sure you're not all 1 damage. If your team is full AD in your top lane, try to pick something like Rumble, assuming you know how to play him. Same thing with support. If your team has no AP, you might go Brand to give your team that extra damage. Otherwise, the enemy team will simply stack 1 resistance against you, whether it be armor or magic resist, and completely counter your whole team. Another huge thing I see in Champ Select in lower elos is people will never. You'll have a Shaco support and a Jan top lane, but no one will dodge for some reason. It's nearly a guaranteed loss, but no one wants to lose 3 LP. Even though it doesn't change their MMR, they're just not willing to wait 5 minutes and lose 3 LP. It's honestly quite insane. I've made an extremely detailed video on about how to dodge, what to look for, and how to use OPGG to figure out what your teammates are extremely quickly. The video is called How to Dodge the Right Way. You should definitely check it out. This method helped me get out of Diamond into Masters. It's really good. Definitely check out that video. Remember though guys, the most important thing is that you pick something you know. Don't worry about composition and picking the right champion if you only know 1 or a few champions. At the end of the day, pick a champion you're very comfortable with and then worry about the composition. The second biggest mistake I see in low elo is without a doubt greed. In solo queue, it's really easy to put yourself above your whole team and to have a short-sighted mentality, an extremely greedy mentality. Your Victor might be farming mid, he's shoving in the enemy Syndra. Meanwhile, the enemy J4 is counter jungling you and you and him are fighting near your Raptors. Your Victor can get to you much quicker than the enemy Syndra since it's in your jungle, but he has no interest because he would rather farm, or he thinks you should take care of it on your own. He would rather get the small amount of gold from farming than he would the potential to get a kill, also to help put his jungler ahead. Another really funny example of this in lower elo is support mains. Support mains will gladly throw their lives away to get a pink ward. Even if they see the enemy team converging around them, they would rather get that pink ward and destroy it than they would live, which is honestly really funny in my opinion. I've even seen this in higher elo, but I honestly see this a lot more in lower elo. Support mains really love them pink wards. Another big example of greed in lower elo is teleporting. Oftentimes a top laner or mid laner will not leave their lane even if they have teleport. They simply take teleport, that way they can get back to lane quicker after backing, when in reality they should be waiting for their bot lane to get dived on so they can teleport and get some kills, or to teleport to dive the enemy bot lane whenever their jungler is about to gank. In the lower elos, people also tend to be more greedy with their money. For example, whenever they come back from base and they bought their items, typically they'll have 75 or more gold. Typically, you don't see them buy extra potions or a pink ward. Every time you back, if you don't have a pink ward out on the map, you need to buy one. It'll help save you from ganks, which will take gold away from the enemy team, keep gold in your pocket. It'll also help you stay in lane since you'll be taking less damage from ganks. You can also bait enemy junglers into doing stupid things, because if they don't see the pink ward, you might walk forward and then immediately walk backwards, thus wasting their time because they're not sure if it's warded or if you know if they're there. Don't be that guy, don't be greedy. Make sure you're buying a pink ward nearly every time you back, because you want to have 1 pink ward out on the map at all times. It'll give your team a huge advantage. You can keep track of the enemy jungler better. Also, it helps to clear enemy vision. Another great aspect of purchasing a pink ward on nearly every back is every time a teammate sees a pink ward out on the map, they'll unconsciously think, I need to buy a pink ward to help out my team. Or if they're a good teammate in general, whenever they see that pink word, they'll remember that, hey, I need to buy one and get one out on the map too. The easiest way to correct your greediness is to simply look on your mini-map and think, what would be best for my team right here? Should I stay and get this CS while the enemy laner is away, or should I push this in and take the turret? Or you might think to yourself, my bot lane is pushed in, maybe I should shove out and go gank them instead of just staying mid to get CS. At the end of the day, looking at your mini-map will solve most of your problems, and especially greediness in my opinion, because you'll see problems before they happen and even as they happen instead of after the fact. If you want some specialized mini-map tips, check out my 5 Pro mini-map tip video. It's got a lot of good stuff in there that will definitely help you guys out, especially if you are in the lower elos. The third mistake I see often in low elo is objective taking. Typically in lower elo, people would rather focus on their own gold gain rather than the team's gold gain, or even ending the game in general. For example, you just had a team fight, you killed 3 people on the enemy team, Dragon is up, Baron is up, and you have a wave pushing mid. What does your jungler do? Well, there's a decent chance he's gonna go back into his own jungle and farm his raptors, when in reality, you guys should probably go for the Baron buff depending on how fed you are, or the safest choice would be Dragon. Or if you feel like you can get an inhibitor, you might even go down mid. Towers properly. Whenever you kill the enemy laner, unless you're almost dead and afraid of dying to the enemy jungler, you should really stay and shove in the minions. Your minions will die on their turret and they'll miss out on a lot of minion gold and XP. Also, as a jungler, whenever you gank a lane and get a kill, 9 times out of 10, you need to shove your minions in to the enemy turret with your laner. Like I said, so the enemy laner will miss out on a lot of gold and experience. Also, you'll get off so much damage on the enemy turret. The faster you take the turret, the better, so your top laner or whatever laner can start roaming, taking objectives as a team, and you guys can also start grouping earlier. So once again, you can take objectives faster as a team and end the game, which is the point of League of Legends. You want to win the game. You don't want to just be farming your jungle at 50 minutes into the game. There's no point, you're already full build. The fourth biggest mistake I see in low elo is probably attitude. Don't get me wrong, players in every elo have, in general, not the best attitudes and typically have fairly big egos. People in high elo will go AFK all the time if you criticize them or if you're mean to them in general, which is why I typically avoid typing anything unless it's to mark a flash timer or to say good job. I just avoid typing because someone might even mistake something wrong. Like if you leave a question mark, especially, like that could really piss somebody off. In low elo, people tend to type way too much in chat and annoying stuff like question marks and why would you do that, or oh, you're so bad and you're trash. This does happen in higher elos, but in lower elos I see this a lot more. The more you put down your teammates and tell them they're shit, the less they're gonna try. They're also gonna start to resent you and they'll play against you. They might even start feeding or intentionally try to fuck with you just to get out you. So there's honestly no point in just saying your shit. Like you can still say their shit, but don't type it. Just like say to your computer, say, sign on your shit or whatever. Attitude comes down to respecting your team as a whole and respecting your opponents as a whole. If you don't give your teammates any respect and you're just treating them like shit and telling them their shit, they're not going to play hard and they're definitely not going to be trying to win the game for you. Same thing with your enemies. If you don't have a good attitude and you don't respect your enemies, you're going to be doing more stupid things and putting yourself in worse situations. You're all in the same elo, therefore all of you are relatively the same skill level. You need to have the proper attitude, go in the game, clear your mind, and focus on the objective. I know, that's what Genji says, but it's true. You got to clear your mind and focus on the objective. If you get too focused on typing to your teammates or defending yourself, let's say you go in for a dive and it doesn't work right and everyone's hitting you with those question mark pings, don't go into keyboard warrior mode and be like, you're all fucking trash, I hate you so much, this is your fault that we lost this. That's not going to help them or you. The best thing you can do if they're tilting you, mute their pings, mute their chat, and keep playing the game, assuming you want to win. If you're just playing for fun, I mean, you can troll if you want, but if you're watching this video, I assume you're watching because you want to learn how to get better. The fifth and final mistake that low elo players make is closing a game. I can't tell you how many games I've seen in low elo that go to the 50 or even 60 minute mark when they could have easily been ended at the 30-minute mark or sooner. Especially after the 30-minute mark, if you get a kill on an enemy, that means a free dragon or potentially free baron. And if dragon and baron are up, you can usually shove down a wave and take a turret, assuming that the enemy team doesn't have insane wave clear. If they have a Xerath, if you don't have baron buff, you can't shove it in. So as a rule of thumb, if the enemy team has wave clear, take a dragon or baron. If they don't have wave clear and you kill someone on the enemy team, just shove down a turret and try to get an inhibitor. Once you do have Baron buff, your minions will be strong enough to where even if they have wave clear, it won't matter. You can just shove it in regardless. And that is going to wrap up this video on the 5 biggest mistakes low elo players make. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out immensely. Believe it or not, I do read every single one of your guys' comments, good or bad. However, I might not respond to them all, especially if they're saying the same thing. I might just respond to one of that kind. Regardless though, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is KingStix, and I'll catch you guys next time.